Alrighty, so I've got my website set up and I'm pretty happy with this contact form. It's quite simple, but when I fill it out, it sends an email to my email address. And so what I want to do now is host it. And because I'm using AWS Amplify for the email handler with a Lambda function, I also want to use AWS Amplify to host this. Now this is a Next.js app, which can be hosted through AWS Amplify. And so we're going to see how to do that now. So here's my server locally. Just make sure you cancel that. Make sure you're in the right branch, obviously. And what you need is to have a GitHub repository or a Git or any sort of Git repository set up for your application. In my case, it's here, Stillscripts website. So here it is, and just want to run git status. Just check that, yep, everything's updated. So happy with that now. So what I want to do is go amplify, add hosting. So just like you go amplify, add API, in this case, amplify, add hosting. All right, so then we want to either use hosting with the Amplify console or Amazon CloudFront and S3. In this case, I'm going to go hosting with the Amplify console. So when you click this, it's going to give us an option for manual deployment or continuous deployment, which is Git-based deployment. That's what I'm going to use. It's definitely the best option in my opinion. So select that. And now what it's doing basically is opening up AWS Amplify for us, and it's opening up the Amplify project that we've set up, the Stillscripts website in my case, and what it's saying. Okay, for some reason it's open up to the backend environments, but just go to hosting environments, and then we can choose obviously GitHub, Bitbucket, GitLab, or others. In my case, I'm using GitHub for my repository, so I'm going to select GitHub. And again, obviously, you got to make sure you're in the right account and all that, logged in. Connect branch. I'm just going to give AWS Amplify permission from GitHub. So authorize that. Okay. So now I just need to select the repository. Whoop. Alright, so now it should be authorized, and yeah, there we go. So now I'm just going to select the repository, and it's going to be, there you go, top one, Stillscripts website. Branch master, that's the only branch I've got, and let's go next. It's auto detected my build settings, and yep, I'm happy with all that. And so you can obviously edit this if there's any issues, but my directory is .next, yarn run build, and yarn install, the install and build commands, and yep. So then next. It's pretty amazing, as you can see. It auto detected that it's a front end framework using Next.js. Yeah. Just dev environment. Enable full stack continuous deployments. This is AWS console backend role that's been set up. And I'm going to click next. Okay, so you can triple check everything, but yeah, it's all good. Go save and deploy. Awesome. Alright, so it's deploying it now. I can go back to my console and click enter. Alright, so then what we can see here is that it's currently in the process of building, but it's setting up a domain with my master branch, and you can see the domain is master.random key and then amplifyapp.com. So this is going to be the default URL for the website that we've set up. So then all we need to do after this, once this has been set up, is set up an actual custom domain so that the website's connected with, the domain name that you want it to be connected with, and then that's it. Right now we can see that it's currently in the process of building this app. It usually takes around anywhere between 5 to 15 minutes to build, and so it's just in the process of building, and I'll come back once this is all done. Alright, so as we can see, it's been successful. It's provisioned, build, deployed, and verified. And we can see here that's the domain, master Amplify app. So if we click that, it's taking a little bit to load everything because it's only just been added. But awesome, there we go. So this website that was local and was put in my repository is now fully set up. And there we go, and there's that contact form. Alright, so super happy about that. Now this is great to use obviously if you're just still testing your website and whatnot, but when you want to go live and you want to actually have it set up to a custom domain, that's when you need to obviously set that up. So if we look here in domain management, we can see we need to add a domain, and yeah, we can see we need to add a domain, and we can see we need to use Amazon Route 53. So the way to do that is to go to Route 53 in your console. And there's basically two situations. One is that you've bought the domain that you own directly within this AWS account. And the other way is you might have bought it with like Google Domains or some other service, and you need to connect them. Great. So if you look in here, you can see on the sidebar, I've just clicked registered domains, and as we can see, I own the domain stillscripts.com. That's the domain that I'm going to be using. Now you don't have to own the domain within here. It makes it a little bit easier, but yeah, you don't have to own the domain within here. What you have to do is you have to go to hosted zones. And as we can see, I've already set up stillscripts as a hosted zone. And I have another domain here which is not through AWS. What I'll do is I'll just show you what it would look like if we were to create it. Stillscripts.com. You can add a description. Obviously it's optional, and it's a website, so it's going to be a public hosted zone. You can add tags if you want, and then just click create hosted zone. I've already set mine up, so we're not going to do that. Alright, so anyway, I've got this hosted zone set up, stillscripts.com. So now if you go back to your Amplify app, and if we click add domain, and then you can see I've got it auto completes there. Just going to go stillscripts and go configure domain. Yep, and we want the base one, and we also want www. We don't need to add any more. Yep, all the defaults are great. Click save. And now what it's doing is it's automatically creating us the SSL certificate, configuring it. So things like SSL certificates and also using CloudFront for hosting are automatically done through AWS, which is awesome. So you're out of the box, you're going to get a website which is fast because it's using CloudFront for its hosting, and secure because it's using SSL by default. Everything's taken care of for you. So I'll come back in a sec once this is done. Alright, we can see here that SSL configuration has happened, and now it's in gray, but we can see we verified domain ownership. We are propagating your custom domain to our global content delivery network, which could take up to 30 minutes. So I'll leave it here. And yeah, hopefully if this all works, then my custom domain will redirect to what this website is. And yeah, and people will be able to visit this website. Okay, so the domain process is completed, and as we can see now that a custom domain has been set up, it's available. It's got you know, the normal URL and then also www. the URL, and yeah, it's connected to this Amplify app domain, which is the default domain that we were given. So now for the moment of truth, I haven't tested this yet. It should work. A little bit slow, obviously, because everything's just been set up. But yeah, there we go. So awesome. Again, the images are a bit slow. Everyone's just got set up. Great. Now, one thing that's really cool is if I click open in new tab. Yeah, there we go. We see this is all set up. Now, if you're wondering where the images are being hosted, if you type in CloudFront. So basically, Amplify, when it hosts your website, automatically sets up an S3 bucket to store all the files associated with the website. If you're using Next.js and there's like server-side rendering, it uses Lambda at edge basically to set up Lambda functions to handle all the server-side related method calls, and it uses CloudFront for hosting everything. So yeah, if you check out this page, Amazon CloudFront, basically it's a global CDN which uses caching and whatnot to make it so that your website gets delivered and the website files get delivered quickly to your users. So it's really awesome. Okay, so now the only last thing to test is to try the contact form. So I'm just going to open up the console. Go. I'm going to go down to the contact form, and let's just try hosted test. I'm going to check that now that it's in a live environment that the contact form is still working. Let's go submit. This error is still there. Again, it's not relevant. It's just a warning. And there we go, response has been returned. You can see the message ID, and that should send an email any second now to my email address. There it is. Yeah, there we go, contact message from hosted test. This is a test from hosted@gmail. I can reply if I want, and yeah, that's all we need to do. So yeah, now thanks to Amplify, I've got my website hosted with a custom domain, and I'm able to process form submissions from this contact form. And yeah, and of course, you know, the design and whatnot's done just using React, using Next.js and whatnot. So if I go back to here, we can see in Amplify, it basically just shows the hosting environment, which is now set up with this GitHub repository. And each time I want to push changes through, it's going to rebuild based on that. And if we look in backend environments, we can see that I've got a function and the API, which is used to call the function. And we can see the name of the function there, and we can view it in Lambda. We could also view it in CloudWatch. And yeah, so basically, in a nutshell, Amplify gives you, for front-end developers, really good, easy access to using as many AWS services, including what we've used is API Gateway and Lambda, and we've used SES in the Lambda function. It's using S3 and CloudFront for hosting, and then using Route 53 for the domain as well. And yeah, so I hope this was helpful. I'm pretty excited to have my website live now, and obviously I still got some things to work on with it, but yeah, so hope this was helpful.